we have a lot of exciting and fun things to share with you tonight. And let's see, how many do we have on this call? Not very many. We really should have had more on this call tonight because the information that I'm going to share with you is very important. How many of you are going to Dex Screen, Dex Tools, or whatever exchange reader you like to use, and you see the market value of the token dropping, and people are just freaking out, right? What the heck is going on? Well, this is actually a very good thing. It's being done on purpose through the ecosystem. And I'm going to explain to all of you tonight why that is happening and what does that mean for you in the future. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start with an update. I am going to share my screen and we're going to choose everything. So you have to bear with me. I'm going to hide this so I make sure that I can get to everything I need to get to. I'm going to start out with, I don't have any major like slideshows to show tonight, but I am going to start out with the first update, which I hope most of you will find exciting. If you shared MoveQuest or Get Fit Mining with anybody in the past, you're going to want to get back in touch with them. MoveQuest is a real life move to earn crypto project. The object of MoveQuest is to turn your proof of physical activity into real crypto rewards. You move, you mine, you level up. The more you move, the more you mine. MoveQuest is going to lower the bar. Okay, when we first set our max physical activity levels, it was based on real world step data. And of course, we went right to the top, high performers, meaning the 13 to 20,000 steps per day. Now, the reason we did that is because we didn't want to cut out the high performers. Okay. And what we've seen, and you guys have to understand, like I have all these algorithms and things where we bring back all this data and this information. Well, we're approaching our 1 year, and you've got the majority of the population who is used to that sedentary lifestyle, right? They're lucky to get 3,000 steps a day, and if they get 5,000 steps a day, they're doing magnificent. Okay, MoveQuest is about motivating you to move away from that sedentary lifestyle, not to just be moderately active, but to be active and fitness aware, and hopefully to turn the majority of you into high performers. Now, you guys have to understand something. I'm the creator of this project, right? The logic behind this project. And I've got some amazing people that have helped us take this to the next level. And you all know who you are because you work with me on a regular basis. We speak on a regular basis. Our developers, our design team, Leslie, our core team, my son, all of these people who are here working every single day. They bring back all of this information that they're hearing from, the community. And what we have found is that a lot of people who lead that sedentary lifestyle or that moderately active lifestyle feel that they can't reach that high performing level. And so this, when I created the algorithm and the max values, it was based on reaching that highest pinnacle point, a high performer. Now, we've got most people who are in this project are older than 40. And so you have to look at all of this information that's coming in. Okay, I'm 57 years old and I don't get 20,000 steps a day, and I'm the creator of the project. You think I'd be out there doing 30,000 steps a day, right? But I don't. I get between the 12 and the 15,000 steps per day. Now, my sister, who's 2 years younger than me and has had hip surgery and has, other heart issues and things like this, she maxes out every day. So what does that tell me? I'm just being lazy, because if she can find time to do 20,000 steps a day, then I surely should be able to do so. So it doesn't really matter what the age is. What really matters is that level of determination. However, not everybody in this project has quite gotten to that mindset, I myself included. And so we are going to make some changes. So everybody here has to understand that this project, it's all about the determination to move. MoveQuest is determined to motivate you to move. So we are going to make some adjustments, and all of this has been coming from the community, okay? Not just recent, but for months. We are going to, let me see, did I just lose everybody? Let's check this out. I heard some weird stuff happening.
No, you're good. You're good.
Okay, all right. My computer makes noises, and I usually have the volume down, so I don't have to hear it. So I wasn't sure what just happened there. All right. So we are going to adjust. Okay, we're going to go to the active and fitness aware. Now, if you're leading a sedentary lifestyle and you can't bump it up to the active and fitness aware, I can't help you because we can't adjust it any different than what we're already doing. So you've got to be determined to move a little bit more. What does my sister tell me? Get up away from your computer at the top of the hour for 15 minutes of every hour that you're awake and run in place. Start a workout, running inside, and you'll be able to max out every day. So we are going to adjust what the max levels are. Steps are going to be 12,000. I mean, they already are. Okay, we made this change already today. So at the end of this phone call, this is exactly what they are. They are no longer a max of 20,000 steps. It is now 12,000. Distance is no longer a max of 10 miles, but it's 6 miles. And workouts are no longer 120-minute max. They are 60-minute max. Calories are no longer 2,000 max. They are 800. And your sleep is no longer 8 hours, but it is 6 hours. And in addition of what is distributed daily from that mining pool, it used to be that steps was equal to 30% of the pool, distance 30%, workouts 30%, calories and sleep were 5%. Now the calories burned in the sleep are now going to be the lowest measurement from the mining pool, 1% each. And what we're doing is we're taking the 4% from the calories and the 4% from the sleep, and we're going to add it to the steps, meaning your steps now account for 38% of all your mining efforts from your proof of physical activity. Distance will remain 30%, workouts will remain 30%. What does this do? This lowers the bar. This means that more people within our community are going to be able to max out. Now, we keep talking about the boost, right? And we've got several boosts that are going to be coming into play. And I actually have a meeting at 7:30 a.m. tomorrow morning with our development team. And we're going to go over the boosts. Otherwise, I would tell you exactly what they are tonight. But what those boosts are going to do is it's going to allow the overperformers to still benefit from those 20,000 steps, those 10 miles, those 120-minute workouts that you are accustomed to getting. So this isn't going to hurt the overachievers, but it is definitely going to benefit those who are leading that active and fitness aware lifestyle. So hopefully everybody is going to be excited about this. The UI has not changed. Okay, we have an update that we will be pushing to Android and Apple over the next couple of days, and that will change what that user interface looks and tells you. So right now it is telling you that the max amount is 20,000 steps. However, it is actually 12,000. So everything is calculating at the new level. It just hasn't updated to show that to you on the user interface level. So if you have been a part of this community and you just decided it's not worth it to you because you just can't reach those max levels, now it is time to put back on your walking shoes and get ready for the adventure of a lifetime. Okay, because MoveQuest is the game that turns real life activities into your digital playground. Now, that's all I have for that. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to roll right into my spreadsheets, okay? And the reason I'm going to show you these spreadsheets, I've broken it down. Those of you who've been here for a long time, you know that I love to use the spreadsheets. Okay, these are like my go-to because this gives me the numbers. Okay, it shows me everything that everybody needs to see. We're going to talk about the liquidity, and you guys need to understand something. Okay, this is not a project that is operating from emotion. It doesn't care what a human being thinks. It doesn't care what the liquidity pool is doing. It doesn't care if people are selling. It doesn't care if they're buying. It's looking at an algorithm. It's looking at the true value of the MoveQuest token, who's holding, not who, but what wallets are holding, what wallets are selling, what percentage of it, what is in the bank. Okay, when I say bank, it means what is banked from the liquidity. Just because it comes in the submissions today doesn't mean that it goes into the liquidity, because there are times when it has to pull back. You will see here, and forget this ecosystem action, okay, for just 1 second. The MoveQuest that's currently in the liquidity pool as of about, I would say about 3 o'clock this afternoon when I was creating the spreadsheet, was 94,945. This is very good. Okay. We want to be up over that 100,000 mark that's in the liquidity pool. We want to shake the tree. Okay. We want those weak hands to get rid of their MoveQuest. And I have done an analysis of the wallets comparison. It took me several days, but I've had several days to sit here in Washington, D.C., as my flight was getting canceled back to Michigan, to do a lot of checking on things. And here is the reality. The wallets that are selling the higher amounts of MoveQuest are the wallets that are no longer submitting. Those of you who are here and get it, you understand what MoveQuest is about, what that self-funding ecosystem is. You're not selling your tokens. In fact, there's a lot of you that are holding those tokens. There's actually major holders in this project. That's very promising. It's the ones who aren't really engaged any longer, because they're not submitting. Yes, you have your submitters who are selling. They're selling basically those little amounts to cover the submission fees. If that's what you have to do, that's what you have to do. Silly? Yes. Understandable? Yeah. I mean, if you can't afford to cover your submission fees, then you need to sell your MoveQuest, okay, I guess, to cover those submission fees. But if you understood what was going on here, you'd never sell a MoveQuest token at this point in this game. So just to let everybody know, the majority of the wallets that are selling that higher amount, one, somebody was being not careful with their wallet, okay? We've had some wallets that have been hacked in the last couple of weeks, and those get sold right away on the market. So always make sure you're using a secure Wi-Fi connection. Make sure you don't give out that 12-word passphrase. Do not click on links. I got one tonight, okay? I'm a traveler. I travel all over the United States, and I had a message that came across to me that I have unpaid highway tolls. I know this, right? I have a few tickets. So I almost clicked that link, but I have a habit. I go and make sure I verify online, is the link safe to click? And I almost didn't today, because I know that I have these toll pass tickets that I have to pay. You drive through, bam, they get your driver's license number, you get a ticket, you got to go online and pay. I think I have 2 of them right now. And I thought it was legitimate just simply because I know I have them. No, it was a complete scam. Had I clicked those links, then they would have had access to my bank accounts, my crypto wallets, all kinds of stuff. So be very, very careful what you're doing on your phone, because you will lose those tokens if you make a mistake and you click the wrong link. And that's not just because it's crypto. That's just because that's the way it is in real life. If you click on something that you shouldn't, and it's got a phishing link that gives them access to your private secured information, you're going to lose your money, you're going to lose your crypto, you're going to lose a lot. And I stuck to my rule and I went and checked, and it was a scam. So I'm not at risk of losing anything. And everybody has got to get into that habit, even if you think it might be legitimate. So you have some of that is also going on. Now, why is the market value of the token at $3.88? That's a great question. It's because more is being sold than what the demand is, and the ecosystem is not injecting much liquidity right now because it wants to see that market value get lowered based on trends, based on growth, based on overselling, based on buys, all of this. Why? Because it wants to become fluid. It wants to become stable. It wants to be able to drive the market value back up to a stable value that's not inflated. Now, I'm going to share with you how the ecosystem works. Let's say, for example, that the ecosystem has $10,000 sitting in the bank. Okay, it's got a whole lot more than that because of the hatchery. Everything that comes through the hatchery is banked. Why? Because when those MoveQuest tokens are made available and that hatchery releases, most will go into the golden hatchery. Those people that are in the hatchery right now, they already understand what this project is about. They're going to roll right into the golden hatchery because they're going to continue to be able to compound their MoveQuest. But for those that don't, they may want to sell that MoveQuest. And so the money that comes in from the hatchery is still banked. It's still sitting there because it needs to be stable for those who are in the hatchery. So let's just say that today the bank it's got $10,000 banked. What happens? Okay, well, what happens with that $10,000 is that the ecosystem, depending on the situation, will trigger a MoveQuest buy. If it does, it's going to go buy $5,000 worth of MoveQuest, 50%. Okay, that's the equivalent of 1,288 MoveQuest tokens based on the current market value of $3.88. And it still is holding 5,000 of the 10,000 in the USDT. Now, what you see here is that 1,288 MoveQuest tokens has been removed from the MoveQuest that's currently in the pool, bringing it to 93,657. And it's going to add in the USDT of $5,000 that it took to buy those MoveQuest tokens. So now the liquidity pool goes from $368,692 to the $373,692, bringing the market value to $3.99. Now, the bank no longer has $10,000 worth of USDT, but it does have $5,000 of MoveQuest and $5,000 of USDT. It still has $10,000. So it just made an adjustment in the liquidity pool, right? Because it removed MoveQuest that was oversold, and it added back the USDT when it purchased that $5,000. So now what it does is it takes that $5,000 of MoveQuest, it takes that $5,000 of USDT, and instead of it being 1,288 MoveQuests that it bought, it is now $5,000 worth of the MoveQuest based on the $3.99, not $3.88, because the market value just went up. So now it's going to pair 1,253 MoveQuests to the 5,000 USDT, adding $10,000 to the liquidity pool, stabilizing the market value that it took it to of $3.99. I hope all of that just made sense to you. And if it didn't, there's a recording here and you can listen to it. So basically, what is banked for liquidity It drove the market up to $3.99 because it bought MoveQuest. Now, if it doesn't buy MoveQuest, because we've got over 500,000 MoveQuest tokens, probably closer to 600,000 MoveQuest tokens that are currently banked that the ecosystem has purchased. And so there are times when it doesn't call for a buy of MoveQuest because the ecosystem really doesn't need to buy anymore. It's bought a ton of it. And then it would just take the MoveQuest that it has banked, and it would have just paired $10,000 of MoveQuest to $10,000 of USDT, and it would have injected $20,000 because it's already got the MoveQuest. It didn't have to go buy the MoveQuest. It already has it. Then you would have just seen 20,000 go in, stabilizing the market value at $3.88, not driving up the market value at all by buying the MoveQuest. So the ecosystem does not have to buy the MoveQuest. It will only buy the MoveQuest when it feels it can stabilize the market value at the price it drove it up to. So there's two different scenarios. Now we're going to look at where we stand in the liquidity pool. That's a crappy looking number right there, right? $737,000 when we were at $1 million a month ago. But that's because people are selling and the ecosystem is not correcting the overselling. Why? It wants to be fluid. We are only $254,000 in USDT away from being fluid. There's enough banked right now to bring it fluid right this very minute, but the ecosystem isn't ready for that because the overselling hasn't stopped. It wants to see this market value drop even more than this. Why? Well, because it makes a very stable liquidity pool, and in the very near future, an overflow of liquidity. What does that mean? That means that from the submissions that are coming in every day, that's the constant. Okay, every single day, that engaged community who is submitting their proof of physical activity to the blockchain, that's the constant in the ecosystem, not the hatchery, not the evolution, not the mining dock slots. Okay, those are bonuses that are added to the liquidity pool. It's the submissions that are the everyday, single-handed constant in the ecosystem. Why? Because you've got to submit that proof of physical activity in order to mine those MoveQuest tokens. You have to submit in order to get the bonus mining rewards from the hatchery. That is the constant every single day. $254,000 brings this liquidity pool completely fluid. What does that mean? That means that every single person who's holding MoveQuest, not the ones that are in the hatchery, just the ones that are in the wallet, would be able to sell their MoveQuest tokens at that $3.88. We're only 20.4% away from that. We are currently almost 80% fluid. Now, if you look at the hatchery, that is 1 million in USDT, and we have a little over half of that already banked for those who are in the hatchery. So what this is telling you is that right now, if the overselling was to continue, the ecosystem could let it go down to as low as $1.15. This is the current market value, but this is the high. What does that mean with the high? Well, that means if more of the community engages and starts submitting, the ecosystem is going to drive the market value up to $8.70 based on what today's values are with up to today's submissions, okay? Or it's going to keep it at the current market value, or if less people are engaged and there's no growth, it will let it drop down to $1.15. So why am I telling you guys this? Is this like information that I really should? Well, yeah, absolutely. I should be sharing it with you because you want to reconnect with the people that are in MoveQuest, and you want them to pay attention to this Zoom that I'm sharing with you. Now I'm going to give you some more information. And you guys, I'm 57 years old. I don't have my reading glasses on, so I have this kind of zoomed up for my own benefit. But right now, we have got 9,564 dock slots activated. There's only 4,200 of those dock slots that are actually actively submitting on a daily basis. That means that only 44% of the community is engaged. Why? Because they don't understand. They do not understand why this project matters, why we're not like the other projects, and why this project, when I say it's community driven, I mean it 1000%. This is a community driven project. Now, of all of these dock slots, look at this. 1,900 of them only have one slot open. 1,200 only have two slots open. 496 only have three slots open. 490 only have four slots. Look at this, guys. This is crazy. These are good numbers. 1,500 of them have seven slots. 2,300 of them have eight slots. 255 have nine slots. Now, look at this. Those of you who are mining with your 18 dock slots, you guys, listen, you're banking it right now, right? You guys are really kicking butt on the MoveQuest because this is the numbers for slots 10, or actually, yeah, slots 9 through 18. Only 189 people in the community has the 18 slots open. That's a big deal to open up those additional mining dock slots. It really, really is. It really increases. I think it almost doubles your mining rewards, and then add on your hatch rewards on top of that. It makes a big difference adding those dock slots. Now we're going to talk about what miners are docked. There's 5,400 navigators, 7,000 trailblazers, 2,800 explorers, 15,000 vanguards, 18,000 titans, for a total of 49,742 miners. Now we're pushing that 50,000 mark. The problem is we only have 44% engagement currently. If the community was completely engaged, that MoveQuest would have locked, and now it would have cost more to mine or mint these miners. Okay, the vanguards, those would have locked in the hatchery. All of these, it would have changed the whole dynamics of the project. But because only 44% are mining, this number isn't really close to that 50,000 mark that is needed to lock the MoveQuest tokens. So now we're going to look at submission fees. We have adjusted the submission fees. We've lowered them. And they would keep lowering as more people submit based on these numbers here. You have to remember now, 3,000 MoveQuest tokens go out every single day. If only 44% are submitting, you're looking at about 5,300 a day that's coming in through submissions. If the entire community who's currently here were completely engaged, it would be 12,000 that was coming in through submissions. The daily reward, you take that 3,000 MoveQuest tokens, you multiply it by the current market value of $3.88, and you've got an amount of MoveQuest that's going out equal to $11,649. So right now, you see the market value dropping, and the ecosystem is letting it do that. It's not going to correct it because there's the $6,300 deficit every single day because the community isn't engaged. However, if the entire community was engaged and they were submitting, we would have a surplus of almost $400 going into liquidity. What does that mean? Well, that means that every single day, even if everybody sold all their MoveQuest tokens that they mined every day, we still have more coming in through the submissions than what the actual market value of the token is, giving us a surplus, which is going to organically drive up the market value. Now, as the community grows, so does this. And I'm going to show you that right now. Right now, we're looking at Trailblazers. Okay, these, if you look here, you'll see these numbers are equal. Now, right now, we give out, when you unlock your mining dock slots, and this is another proof of concept, because you hear people say, well, what happens if new people don't come in? Nothing. You see this right here, right? You still have those submissions that are coming in every day. You still have that liquidity that's being added, but now the ecosystem has to adjust to the decreased engagement, because people think, well, if I'm not in profit today, I'm not going to submit. But what you don't understand is that submitting through your proof of physical activity is what drives the liquidity. This project doesn't ask the community to provide the liquidity like all your other projects do. It asks their community of people to provide the liquidity, and they give you a percentage of the profits from the transactions on the exchange. That doesn't happen here. Okay, the liquidity comes from the engagement in the project. 90% of it, and actually about 150% actually goes into the liquidity, but per the light paper, it has to be a minimum of 90%, even though we are above that 90% of what the ecosystem, or what this project actually provides to the ecosystem. So here's what I want to show you. Let's just say that the community is growing, right? When you come in to this project and you unlock your mining dock slots from now until we're going to do a promotion for the following 60 days, meaning you unlock those mining dock slots, you're going to immediately get a free Trailblazer for every single slot that you unlock to mine with. Now, once those 60 days are up, it's going to go to the navigators. We don't allow people to mint the navigators anymore. Those will be used for promotional purposes, meaning that when you unlock your dock slots, you'll get navigators. But for the next 60 days, everybody who unlocks their dock slots are going to get Trailblazers. So let's just say that this number doubles, okay, just by 2. We're going to double it. So now we have 14,000 Trailblazers who are mining. That's an additional 15, it brings it up to 1,500 wallets that are submitting. Now you're looking at 12,000 a day. Now this means that the entire community is engaged 100%, not the 44% that's submitting. The entire community is engaged in the project. You're looking at a surplus of over $1,100 above the daily reward from the mining based on today's current market value. I don't know what it is at this moment. I haven't looked at it in several hours, but when I did the spreadsheet, it was at $3.88. Could be $3 for all I know right now. I have no clue. But the daily liquidity that would be added would be that $12,753. That's an over amount. That's a surplus amount of liquidity that's going into the pool above what the daily reward is. Let's just say that we triple those numbers. Okay, people start sharing the project, how this works, how your proof of physical activity becomes the liquidity. Now you've got 21,000 Trailblazers that are mining. Now you've gone up to a surplus of 1,800. Okay, let's quadruple that. And now you have 3,100 wallets that are mining with Trailblazers. Now you got a surplus of 2,500. Now let's just say that we quadruple our vanguards. Okay, everybody who's mining with Trailblazers or Explorers, evolve them up to vanguards. What does that do? Wow, now we've got a surplus of $11,823 above the daily reward amount. Okay, let's say that we do that with the Titans. We have navigators, trailblazers, explorers, and vanguards, and they merge up to that Titan level. Okay, now you're talking about a $34,000 surplus for liquidity. So what I'm trying to explain to you, it's not about new money, because we give you the miners for free. It's about that daily submission, that recording that proof of physical activity to the blockchain. That action alone is what spikes the liquidity. So when people are telling you, well, it's just not worth it for me today, it's worth it to you every single day, because that engaged community is the difference of a deficit of $6,300 or a surplus of $35,000. Or if you just don't grow at all, and we just have, let me get rid of that slot, and we just do one, we don't grow at all, no growth at all, just every single person who's currently got miners docked in the ecosystem, you still have a surplus of $400 a day above and beyond the market value of what's being mined every day. So do you understand what I'm trying to explain to you? It's not about new money. We don't need new money. We need the engaged community. We give you the miners. You have to unlock the mining dock slot, which none of that's even included here. Okay, so when we talk about quadrupling the number of trailblazers, okay, so we go from 782 wallets that are submitting with trail, and this is based on 9, okay, just 9 miners per wallet, because the majority of people are not at 18, and the majority of people aren't even at 9. But just looking at this, you got 782 wallets that are submitting with trailblazers every day. If we go from 782 to 3,100, you're talking about a little over what? 1,800, 1,600 wallets that are mining with 9 trailblazers. They haven't even unlocked the last 9, just the first 9. And you got a surplus every single day of 2,500. They didn't pay a dang thing for them trailblazers, and that's where the new money comes in at, right? Those trailblazers. We give them to you for free. That's the new money, the miners. We don't need the new money. This project doesn't rely on that. It relies on an engaged community. So I know I'm beating this up, but I really want you guys to understand what this means. Now, what I want to do is I'm going to show you guys what it looks like just with no growth, okay? And the entire community who is currently activated miners. If you've already bought miners, you've already paid for the mining dock slots, or you need to get with your different people that you've shared this with, and you need them to watch this. Because if every single person got engaged, you're looking at $12,000, okay? That's total engagement going into the liquidity, using what I showed you above here, how it buys and injects. And you come down here, in 30 days, the ecosystem, without one single person buying MoveQuest, would drive the market value to $11.35. You do that for 60 days, it's going to drive the market value to $18.82. You do that for another 30 days, and you're going to see a market value of $26.29. The ecosystem will drive the market value where it needs to be as long as the community is engaged. You have to have the engagement. Now, let's just say it does grow, and we're going to do 4 times just on Trailblazers. This means everybody, who's sharing the project, people just come in and they get their free miners. They unlock their mining dock slots and they get the 9 Trailblazers. We're not even talking 18. We're just talking 9. Okay, now take that, and in the first 30 days, you're looking at a market value that's going to go up to $14.44. And the ecosystem will do this because the growth is here. If there's no growth, it will let that market value go down where it needs to go so that there is no daily deficit, so that it can be stable. But if there's growth, in the first 30 days, you'll see the market value go up to $14.44. And that doesn't even include the community buying any MoveQuest. In 60 days, you'd see the market value go to $24.99. And in 90 days, you would see the market value go to $35.55. Okay, this is just from the ecosystem with the community that it's engaged. And with Trailblazers going from 700 to 3,100, wallets mining with 9 trailblazers that they didn't pay for. That's $900 free in trailblazers just for unlocking their first 9 doc slots. Now let's just say that we quadruple the vanguards. What does that look like for the market value? Isn't that silly? In the first 30 days, you're going to see a market value jump from $3.88 to $168. Why? Because we've increased the vanguards. Now, instead of, see, look here. Ugh, get rid of that.
Just for clarity, real quick, Lynette, as you're going up, are you saying in addition to the Trailblazers or instead of the Trailblazers, we now going to take the Vanguards up higher? Or are you adding 4 times
No, I'm saying that
Vanguards on top of it?
you have miners. This is just the free trailblazers. People come in, they unlock the mining doc slots. This is what it does for the ecosystem. Now you've got all of the people in the community who have navigators, they have trailblazers, they have explorers, and they take whatever those 3 miners are of the community and they upgrade to the vanguards.
Right.
Or
So at that point, when you put 4 right there where Vanguards are,
yeah,
do we not now have to take the Trailblazers back to 1?
no, we don't have to because that would be new. That would be growth. We've quadrupled the amount of trailblazers who are mining.
Right. And then if I just want to make sure me and everybody else is on the same page. If they have Trailblazers and then they upgrade, so we're not talking about upgrading
Okay,
the
so we'll do
Trailblazers.
it your way. What I'm doing is this, Herschel. I'm saying we've got 50,000 miners that are mining right now, and the majority of them are not vanguards, right?
Correct.
So what I'm saying is if those other miners upgrade to the vanguards, just the current community, what it would do. But let's do it your way and say, okay, all of those trailblazers upgrade to the vanguards. Okay, we'll just say that for an example. We no longer have those trailblazers because all of those trailblazers upgraded to vanguards. This will be easy so we don't confuse people. Okay, now you're looking at in 30 days a market value of $55. But I don't like to say that all those trailblazers have to upgrade to vanguards. What I'd rather say is that we've got 60,000 miners that are docked, and X amount can go in and they can, upgrade to those vanguards, even if all those trailblazers are still mining. But we're going to, for the sake of simplicity, we're going to say that every single one of those trailblazers went up to vanguards. Now you're looking at a market value of $55 in 30 days, $107 in 60 days, and $158 in 90 days. But let's just say that all those trailblazers are still mining. And we've got all the other miners that are upgrading. Let's just say it doubles. Okay, let's not even say quadruples. Let's just say it doubles. That we go from 1,500 vanguards or 1,500 wallets mining with vanguards to 3,400, and only 9. Not only 9 doc slots, not 18, because that would blow your mind if I actually showed you that. Okay, and now you're looking at a market value of $22 in the first 30 days, 40 in 60, and 58 in the 90 days. Now we're going to say Titans, okay? We'll just double that. Okay, now you're looking at too much. Okay, there's not even enough MoveQuest. We're at a negative $861 in market value because the ecosystem doesn't have enough MoveQuest. So what does that mean? That means we have a massive demand for that MoveQuest token, and we don't have enough in the liquidity pool. Are you kind of understanding where this goes? It doesn't take much growth to get us where we need to be. It takes very little growth. Let's just say that nobody upgrades. Everybody just stays the same. And even at this market value, $35, just sharing the project and people come in and get in those free trailblazers. What a difference it makes. Now, let's just say not one single person comes in and takes you up on those free trailblazers. It just stays the same. If the entire community is engaged and they're submitting, the ecosystem algorithm goes and does a whole 360. Okay, now it starts to do corrections and it starts to inject that liquidity and buys up that MoveQuest. And you still, after 90 days, are looking at a market value of $26.29. It's all about the community. It's all about the engagement from the community. It's not the new money. It is the ecosystem that provides it. So hopefully all of this makes sense to everybody, because I know people get really confused with this project, but if you really understand or try to understand what I am telling you, this is why the market value is dropping. But it doesn't have to, because our community actually is large enough that it is already sustainable. And not only is it sustainable, but it is able to drive the market value up with the zero community growth to $26 over the next 90 days just from the submissions. You want to see market value, you want to see that proof of physical activity have a value, you've got to be engaged. I know there's all what I think somebody called it the new shiny pennies out there. They're here and gone in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. This is a long-term project. This is all about community engagement, and it's all about community drive. This community drives this project to do exactly what it's telling the system to do. So I really wanted to bring that home to everybody tonight. I really wanted you guys to understand this. And it gets so much better. These market values can skyrocket. Would there be a 94,000 MoveQuest tokens right now in the liquidity pool? You already seen what it did. It went into a negative amount. What does that mean? There isn't enough MoveQuest there to take it higher just from that little bit of growth. It doesn't take much. You guys, you're right there. Like, this is ready to just blow to the moon, but the ecosystem is going to stabilize itself. It is going to do what the community is telling it to do based on this. It wants to be fluid. And that's all it's not far away. And honestly, there's enough banked already to go more than this. There's enough banked already to go a little over half of this right at this moment. But it doesn't do it because the behavior of the community has not switched yet. You got to understand this ecosystem. You got to understand the algorithms. You got to understand exactly what it is doing. It's got to see the community engagement so that it can come back and do what it's supposed to do. Otherwise, it's waiting. This right here is the fluid pool circulating plus hatchery. What does that mean? Let me take you over to this calculator here. That means that currently there are 320,000 MoveQuest tokens being held in user wallets. There is 397,000 MoveQuest tokens in the hatchery. And it wants to make sure that this amount of MoveQuest and this amount of MoveQuest is able to sell if they want to without hurting the ecosystem. And so it banks this. Why? Because the hatchery is holding on to the monies that come in for liquidity for the hatchery, so that when those tokens are released, those who are in the hatchery are protected. They can rely on the liquidity pool from those who are overselling right now. And so this market, believe it or not, is extremely stable. Once we get listed on CoinMarketCap, it's going to look so pretty, you guys. You have no idea how good it's going to look, because if you go look at other projects, they're hundreds of millions of dollars away from being fully diluted, or a fully diluted market value. We're not. We are $250,000 away, and we are $1 million away on all tokens that are in circulation. It may not say that on CoinMarketCap right now. It may not say that on the screeners that you're using, but this is the reality. And this is what it will say once those are all validated and everything is updated on those websites. So those of you who think that there's an issue, there is no issue. It's actually very strong. It's shaking the tree. It's getting rid of the weak hands. You want them to sell right now. You don't want them to sell when it starts to drive the market value up. Can you imagine if everybody who has sold over the last 60 days or 90 days had held and then sold when it hit the $25 mark? No, what you see here when you look at this fluid calculator, those are holders. They're not selling. Okay, they don't sell. It stays pretty steady at the 320,000, even though people are claiming from that mining pool every day. And those who are selling, they are selling, but we stay pretty consistent at 320,000 that are being held by the wallet holders. And then this number here, as more people are getting those vanguards, you want to do it through the hatchery because you get to earn additional MoveQuest rewards every single day when you submit. That's like a bonus mining pool for you. The golden hatchery is going to allow you to be able to compound because it doesn't hold them for 222 days. It locks them for a very short amount of time, which allows you to claim those MoveQuest tokens, add them back into the golden hatchery so you can continue to compound the MoveQuest that you're mining every single day from your proof of physical activity. And so the longer you hold them, the longer that you have them in the hatcheries, the more MoveQuest that you're going to be getting, and the more wealth that you're building while you're becoming healthier and fit with the MoveQuest project. So I hope everybody doesn't get, I hope you get what I'm trying to explain to you tonight. And those of you who are holders understand that this ecosystem was built the way it was built on purpose. So when you see market values going at $3.88, that's not a bad thing. It's a very good thing. What is a bad thing is that you've got a 50-something% of the community who doesn't understand that if they continue to be engaged, they would see things turn around. They would start making money that they're not going to make other places because they all fall apart. Every single one of them do. I wish somebody would bring me a project that they got involved in that is still here 4 years later and they're making money from. They just aren't there. This one has been here for 4 years. Yes, Avalanche for 1 year, proof of concept on the blockchain. And it's very, very strong. So I just hope you guys all understand what I'm explaining to you, why that community engagement works. And we don't need the new money. It's not about the new money. The new money is a bonus. So I'm going to hand that back over to you, Herschel, because that's all I have for tonight.
Wonderful, wonderful. That was very clear in actually seeing it. So I hope a lot of people were able to, kind of grasp and get a better idea of, how the ecosystem actually works. And I promise I will have this recorded up within the next 30 to 45 minutes for any of you that want to go through and rewatch that. But before we go real quick, Ms. Lynette, there's a couple questions over here. Just want to make sure I'm clear on. Catherine asked, you made a statement a few minutes ago in reference to the trailblazers, and that would potentially go away in 60 days. So I just want to make sure we're on the same page with exactly what you meant by that. Unlocking
Yep.
the docking slots.
You can't mint navigators.
Right.
And you can't get the explorers any longer. We will be using the navigators and the explorers for promotional purposes and to allow people to get started. So we're going to keep it at the trailblazers for 60 days because we're getting ready to do a lot of marketing. And, because we've been, you've been part of the meetings there, Herschel. And so because we're coming up on our 1 year anniversary, right, of being on Avalanche. And so we really want to kick this into high gear. We want people to be able to get started with the trailblazers. Okay. But moving on from there, we're going to be giving away the navigators to people who get started, and then they'll be able to upgrade. Now, if we have, a really high success rate, we'll keep it at the trailblazers. But if it doesn't really seem to stimulate excitement or that growth, we'll back it down to the navigators, and then people will be able to do the trailblazers and the navigators, or not navigators, the trailblazers and the vanguards through the hatchery, and then we'll go from there. But right now, we're going to test how the trailblazers go. If we have great success with that, we'll leave it there. Okay, if that is something that motivates people to get started, to learn what MoveQuest is about, we'll continue with the Trailblazers. But if it doesn't seem to be a motivator, or it doesn't seem to stimulate that growth that we're looking for, we'll back it down into the navigators, and then we'll test a different form of marketing.
Perfect. Perfect. All right. Let me see if you can peruse through the some of the questions that's coming through. If you can answer any of these, it'd be appreciated.
All right. So I'm not sure who B-Man is. I know you guys are going to think I'm crazy. I talk to so many people in a day. There's thousands of you and one of me. But you're welcome. I can't remember what it is I did, but you are very welcome. The leasing. All right. So with the leasing, I have asked the dev team to put that off a little bit. We really need to see the engagement come back from the community. Oh, that leads me to another thing. Don't let me forget about the fee thing. We'll talk about that next week. And the leasing, I want to get the boost going. I want to get the engagement. I want people to really understand the system before we move into the leasing. The leasing brings in a whole new aspect of this project, and I've got to have the community really engaged. Like, I really need to see people actively involved in this project to bring in the leasing, because that's a whole new beast all in and of itself. And I really want that to be very successful. I don't want to introduce the leasing and not have it. I don't want it to not have the effect it needs to have. So I'm really watching what the data is bringing back. I'm watching what the trends are. I'm watching what this algorithm is doing. I'm really paying close attention to everything right now, because we really want the leasing to be successful. And if we don't have an engaged community that is ready to go out and share this project, then the leasing becomes a flop. And that's not something that we really want to work on right now. I have zero interest in selling. You don't have to sell. Nobody's asking you to do that. It's not even worth it to sell. Okay, so I'm not sure who Felicia is, but I would really encourage you to go and watch our videos so that you can understand the ecosystem. It would give you a better understanding of how everything works here. And you don't have to sell. We're not asking people to sell. There are many people that are here that are a part of MoveQuest that are accustomed to marketing and sharing, but that is definitely not something that you have to do. And obviously, because you think it's not worth it to share the project because the market value is low, you completely missed everything that I just shared in this project about how the growth of the community and that daily engagement, what that does to the market value. So, not to sound rude, but I really would encourage you to go to our YouTube channel and to watch our videos, or whoever shared the project with you, however it is that you got involved. Try to engage with them and ask them to explain it to you or to help you understand it better. Depth settings. When will the distance settings be fixed? Okay, so there are no issues with the distance settings still defaulting back to kilometers. Oh, okay. All right, Catherine. I'm not sure on that. Send that to me, Catherine, will you, after this, and let me have the devs look at that, because it shouldn't be defaulting back to kilometers from miles. It doesn't for me, but we need to take a look at that. Can we swap out the navigator that we already have undocked, then switch them out for no? The only way for a new Okay, the only way to get the Trailblazers, if you're already mining, because it doesn't backdate to current users, you would need to create a new wallet, and you would have to unlock your dock slots. They're $80 for each slot, and then you would get that Trailblazer. Trailblazers, as you all know, have a market value of $100 each, so you would be getting up to $1,800 worth of the Trailblazers, but you can't swap the navigator for a Trailblazer, but you can evolve your navigator up to, well, I guess you can't even do that. So navigators have to go all the way to a Vanguard. So you can't even evolve them to Trailblazers. I might have to check on that and see. The developers might have to change that so that you can. Did she just say for the next 60 days you get a Trailblazer when opening up a deck? Yes, you do. And this has been in play for the last couple of weeks. I don't know how many of you have really missed that, but every time you unlock a dock slot, you unlock dock slot 2, you get 2 Trailblazers. Unlock dock slot 3, you get the third one. Every dock slot that you unlock, you get those Trailblazers. $4.06 on TradingView. Oh, so the market value's gone up. That's good to know. Thanks, Edgar. When the new communities coming in bring us to this level. Well, here's the thing. Yes, it will, CJ, but that doesn't mean that the community still can't share and go above those levels. And I don't know who E is, but the last few hours there's been a lot of buys. Is that the smart contract? Nope, that is not the smart contract. Anything that the evolution contract does comes from a wallet address that ends in C06. This is actually people that are buying the token at the lower price that it's at right now. So no, that's not the contract. You want the contract that's, like I said, it ends in C06. I opened all available mining dock slots in anticipation that Trailblazers will be placed. No, they are not placed. You will have to go to MoveQuest.com, go to your mining inventory, and you will need to claim those. And then from claiming them, you'll add them to your dock slot. What is the status of verification in CoinMarketCap? Good question. Have no clue. They came back. I had to update some of the new contracts that we put in there, and I had to answer a couple of questions. So I'm hoping here any day now it will be live. And Julie asked that twice. Okay. Ace Brown. A couple of weeks back, I know you mentioned something about projects, of course, coming on boarding. Yes. So we do have many. We actually have more projects now that are inquiring. And it's really more about me getting the time to answer all their questions because it's really about educating. You'd be surprised at how many people don't understand what a self-sustaining ecosystem and exactly how this works. And they've been crypto people for a long time. And so they are onboarding. But right now, we're really focused on making sure that Bullish Moon is successful. And we do have 4 to 5 more projects, not 45, 4 to 5 more projects that will be getting started over the next, I would say, give it 30 to 60 days. It takes a lot of time to get these projects up to speed on how everything works. And then they have to be able to explain to their communities. And it does take a little bit of time. Judy, Binance question, of course. We're working on Binance, and as soon as we have that ready to go, we'll let you know. And we will be promoting the Binance chain to the Avalanche community. And then we will also, and have been sharing the Avalanche community with the few, we got about, I don't know, 450, 500 wallets that are currently on the Binance Smart Chain. So, if the Avalanche community engages with the Binance side of the project, it's going to be a major lift up for the Binance side. And we are working on that. And as we have more information, I will let you know. That is a priority on my list of many things, but all things take a little bit of time and nothing happens overnight. So we are working on that. And Tamal, okay, I just answered that. Lori Lynn, hi, I'm here from Bullish Moon Community, and I'm wondering where we can find the MoveQuest replays to rewatch. I would go to official MoveQuest channel on YouTube. You can always, I will have the developers add the YouTube channel inside the app, but I also believe that if you go to the website, you go down to the bottom, I believe the Discord, YouTube, Twitter, or X, I guess it is now, are there. Would you share any more updates on the other projects? Nope, not at this time, although I can tell you that they're very large. They have a very large amount of people in their communities. So most of them are very excited about getting started. I'm not a whiz, but it was understandable for me. I learned my repetition and Lynette said enough time. Awesome. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Jacqueline, what happens with the navigators we are leasing? You'll still be able to lease them. Nothing happens to those. People will be able to mine with those. We're not getting rid of the navigators. We're just not making more available for people to come in and mint because they're kind of a starter level. It doesn't, now that we've adjusted the max values, the navigators will be able to mine a little bit more of the MoveQuest, but they really don't have enough impact on the ecosystem for us to continue having those being minted. May I know when we receive our reserve MoveQuest? As soon as I know, you'll know. And it isn't going to the reserve MoveQuest. I mean, honestly, could you imagine releasing those right now before there's a demand for them? So there has to be a demand for the token. What is happening with MoveQuest locked in the first hatchery? Oh, you mean the ones that you guys did not send in the information soon enough. We've got 99.9% of those handled, and I have got to find the time to get back and there's like 20 of you. I need to get in there and do that. The ones we bought in the past, not sure what that means. Is there a marketing campaign planned for the 1-year anniversary? Yes, we have a big marketing campaign that we're working on right now. Is giving miners away affect the leasing market? Not really. No. And when the MoveQuest lowers, are going to, when is MoveQuest? Oh, that's already in effect. That's done. It's already a part. It's working now. It's just the UI doesn't show it, but it does in the calculations. Pertaining to security and open Wi-Fi network, does the VPN protect one's device or no? I always use a VPN. Everybody, if you were to look at my computer, I'm either Brazil, Sweden, Switzerland. I'm never in the United States. VPNs do protect your anonymity, but it's not going to protect you from being hacked. So you don't ever want to be on an open Wi-Fi network if you have crypto, ever. That's just a huge no-no. You talk about marketing, sports, and company promoting. I think people are waiting for it. Let me get back to you on that because I know that the marketing packages are supposed to be coming out this week. So next Tuesday, it would be better for me to talk about that then because I wouldn't have much to tell you right now. I've such a few times the Bullish Moon. Do I need to join that? You do not need to join Bullish Moon to mine Bullish Moon. Your inventory of navigators is what you'll be able to lease those out. Let's see. Do I need to join? The Bullish Moon, they offer a lot of training on different things. I've talked about Brandon Ivy's training and Bullish Moon's training. They're two totally different types of training. I recommend both of them because they do teach you quite a bit. Hey, when I have 10 days of claim, where do the tokens will automatically go into your external wallet. They don't go into the in-app wallet. They go to the wallet that you're mining with. What is Bullish Moon contract address? I'm not sure if you can put it up for everyone. Okay, the Bullish Moon contract address, it should be in the website, but I'll find out. Herschel, you might know where it's at. The old Gifted mining app was supposed to have already been gone. I'm going to find out tomorrow why it's still there. It should have been gone several days ago. When do you get the extra MoveQuest that was accumulated at the start? As soon as there's demand for it. We unlocked the 18 slots when it was first available. No, because that's old. Now, if somebody unlocked those 18 slots and you want them, just message me and we'll see what I can do about that. I'll have to see. Or get a hold of, I don't know. Let me talk to Herschel and them in the core team and see what we want to do about that. But no, you won't get them otherwise. Are there training videos on YouTube? Yes, there are, and they're also inside the app. If you go to the app on the homepage, you'll see all the listed videos. That does help. If your sleep isn't working on your phone, go to movequestsupport.com. That's our live Zoom support every single day, and you'll be able to get that. The merch part of our website should be available by the end of the week, if not very beginning of next week. Yeah, I don't say earn daily or pay daily. You mine daily. What you do with it is up to you. People who joined when they could. Yes, or they're not engaged any longer. Question answered. Thank you. I submitted my 10 days and I don't see where it went. It goes into your wallet. You probably have to add the contract address for MoveQuest or for Bullish Moon as a custom token inside your wallet, and then they will show up. Like 3 weeks ago, and I don't think I received my miners. Well, that's probably because at that time we hadn't started that yet because it was only about 2 weeks or so ago. seems to be a change. Let me see. Mood at the moment. It's been like that for a while. Buyers and then 3 times sells. It's always been that way. There's always been more selling than there has been buyers because we really haven't started our growth yet. And thank you, Matt. Thank you, Dustin. I appreciate that. The increase of the Titans mining. As soon as we get those boosts live, which is supposed to be before the end of the week, you'll start to see those Titans increase in their mining power. All right, I think I went through all the questions, Herschel.
All right. Once again, we want to thank you for your time and for especially going through all the questions this evening. I definitely appreciate that, so we can get everybody as much information as we possibly can. Like I said, this recording will be posted here within the next 30 to 45 minutes. And for those of you that are a part of or signed up and can gain access to the Discord, my understanding is that chat has been reopened and information and dialogue is once again flowing there as well. So we'll make sure we have this posted over there here momentarily. Once again, we want to thank all of you for coming out and getting the information this evening. Miss Lynette, have safe travels, and we'll see everyone again this time next week. Y'all have a wonderful evening. Good evening. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.